Okay, hitting record. Welcome to today's Success Strategies webinar here at Inside Real Estate. It is Wednesday, 9/23, 12 p.m. East on the better coast here on the east side of the country. 9 a.m. for you guys just waking up there in California. All right, so as always, if you have any topics that you'd like to discuss today related to KV Core, building your real estate business, marketing, lead generation, converting leads, anything you want, these sessions are for you. They're kind of just an open office hours kind of deal where we talk strategy. Usually I have a topic. I don't really have one specific today, but I can ramble on. Somebody who's listening, just say you can hear me and let me know if there's anything you'd like to talk about. In the meantime, I'll take a look inside of Marketplace here and just talk briefly about some of the things that are going on. I don't know if you guys have noticed, but we have added some more options with Property Boost. So let's go into the Property Boost tile. I'm going to click Boost a Property. Oh, I'm in Aaron's account. Give me 1 second here. I don't like to do that. I'm in another broker's account through the super admin, and I don't want to show everybody somebody else's database. 1 second. So yeah, somebody just let me know you can hear me, and we'll go into Marketplace here, and I'll show you the Property Boost stuff I was alluding to. Thanks, Sue. Just a few things. You might not know or have noticed you can now do a price reduced notification. So it'll kind of run an ad letting the local market know that a listing has had a price reduction. So this would be a useful thing to maybe go if you have a listing that's getting stale and you've just reduced the price. You can either use this to sell the idea to your seller client and say, hey, if we do this, I'll go run some extra Facebook ads to get the word out about it. Or you don't have to mention it to them and you can just do it to generate some extra exposure. In general, price reduced ads do pretty well, and we've seen some nice results here. So you have that option. We've had the open house option for a while where you can run a boost for an open house if you want to get more attendance. And then we have our regular listing options. The other thing is that you can target outside of your city. We launched this a month or two ago, and your ads can be shown to outside. So, part of my role here, of course, I want to sell more property boosts, but also I do think it might be a good practice to run one boost in your local market and another perhaps in the outside market for some markets where you are a destination area, like St. Pete, Florida, where I am. Some of you areas that are like vacation focused, where or just you're in a market where you get a lot of relocations from a metro. So if you're in the Philly suburbs, for example, you may want to run ads for your specific listing to people who live in the city property. Would be city proper would be one example. So just keep those in mind as options. Property Boost is still by far our quickest kind of easy button for getting fresh contact info into KV Core. Your name, email, cell number, somebody interacting around the listing. Coming into your database. The cost per lead is still very, very reasonable. In most cases, we're seeing as low as $3 down to $8 in most markets per lead. So, the numbers do work out. So there's my little Property Boost pitch. I just want to highlight some of those things that have been added. Does anybody have anything specific you want me to dive into today? Been out about a week, had a trip out to the home office in Utah, and was out for my wife's birthday yesterday. Ernest did a great job. I caught some of his webinar last Wednesday. If you didn't catch that, he talked about some lead re-engagement ideas. And you can always find those replays at insiderealestate.com/webinars. And if you go to the replays, you can see that. So Carla's asking to talk a little bit about Mailchimp integration. That's a good topic. Thank you, Carla. That'll give me something to talk about here for a minute. So all the replays are here. Robert, I'll do that as well. Robert, with being out, I did catch your emails, but I'm sorry I didn't reply this morning. Sorry about that. I was out and kind of saw them over the weekend and late last night, but I'll reply after this webinar. Let's go in and talk about integrating KV Core with third-party emailing solutions like Mailchimp in particular, as Carla is suggesting. One option that you do have is to use the Mailchimp bridge through API Nation. So if you go into the marketplace, we do have a dedicated bridge that was built by API Nation that you can use. I believe it's $5 a month to use it. And if you click Add to KV Core, you can basically sign into your Mailchimp account. Connect KV Core, and you can send new leads that you get in KV Core over to Mailchimp that way. So I would need my Mailchimp account here. I don't have one, but just for fun, just might as well just get one really quick, right? So, and then some of you guys are probably wondering, why would I want to do this? Mailchimp does sometimes give you some additional options with respect to creating your new newsletters. And some people like to have a backup. You know, integrating with a third-party mailing service a lot of times can give you a kind of a backup of your database too. So there's good reason to do that as well. So I'm going to go ahead and sign up. Looks like I already did have an account from way back. So let's do that real quick. Not to make you guys watch me create an account, but I think it would be useful to answer Carlos' question just to show how this API Nation works. So I just need to get my Mailchimp going. Got to verify. Sorry for the delay, guys. Just verifying my email in another window. Submit. Got it. Okay. So now I do have my account. I've clicked Add to KV Core. Now it says Connect Mailchimp account. What I'm going to need to do is I'm going to need to put in the email that I used to sign up. And then I'm going to need my API key from Mailchimp. So I'm going to go to Account Extras API key. Okay, copy that. Put that in, connect. So of course, this assumes you already have a Mailchimp account. And API Nation has a few of these bridges for specific things. I think it's useful to show kind of how they work. So here you'll see that there's a trigger. That's when a contact is created. I could sync all my contacts on a full first run. So it will take every contact I have and dump them into a Mailchimp list. That's kind of useful if I check that. I'll select all my leads. And then I could filter by specific sources of leads. So I can say, hey, anytime I get a lead with this source, right, I want to send it into a mailing list inside of Mailchimp. And I can also, of course, put the phone number over, it looks like that, and then the address. So it looks like we've got these 5 fields right here. So that's about it. I'm not going to do this. I'm now realizing that my Mailchimp username is attached to my buddy's Mailchimp account. I was helping him with something. So I don't want to zap all my leads in and show the full thing. But that's basically it with API Nation. It's pretty easy to do. I didn't notice that they make me pay, but I thought that was a paid add-on. So I may have been wrong about that. Maybe that's a free one through API Nation. I'm not sure. But I thought originally that was a $5 a month bridge. So you might run into that. Yeah, it is, Carla says. So Carla, was there anything specific about that tie-in that you wanted me to show? You know, the other way to do this, of course, would have been through Zapier.com. You can get a little more granular with Zapier. That's kind of a loaded topic. I did a webinar about that in the replays. Zapier ran through all of that about a month or two ago and really went in depth. Okay, yeah, so how to utilize the integration for mass mailings? Well, I don't think there's too much to it. You know, you're just going to want to be mindful of the fact that you've created this sort of second system for doing mass emailing. So just be careful about sending mass emails through KV Core and Mailchimp. At this point, once you've got the leads going in, all you're going to need to do is go into Mailchimp, and obviously I don't use it that much here, and you're going to use their built-in functionality to just send your mass emails. So I think it's create campaign, email, and you would just start mailing to everybody in that list. So I hope that's enough, Carla. I don't really have familiarity with Mailchimp. These systems all work the same, and you're basically going to choose your list inside of Mailchimp, and then one at a time send out a broadcast. Yeah. But you are going to, because Mailchimp is dedicated to email marketing, you are going to find more functionality, with the way the templates are built, with the opens and clicks. Now, KV Core, we are working on catching up, getting you more of these features to see your opens and clicks. We've got some great, our advanced email editor does allow you to make some great templates. You can integrate core video and do all those things. But yeah, that would be why you use Mailchimp. Okay, so Robert's asking, can you show how to add an alert to a campaign? That question I'm a little confused on. Do you mean a property alert, or what kind of alert? And also, can you show us how to add, if possible, a blog to a campaign so it goes out to new leads? So that's pretty straightforward. And I really like this approach. If you're creating blog content and you want to kind of include it in a smart campaign so that content is always sent to a lead who comes into the campaign, that's a really good practice. And in fact, you might decide that anytime you create content, you're doing it so that you can add it to a campaign. Just going to my site here to bring up my blog, your agent blog. I should probably add more posts here. I just had this one demo post. But let's say we have our blog post here. Go. And we want to add it to a campaign. What we'll need first is the permalink for the post, meaning the actual link to the post, which I'm getting out of my browser. Okay. So we're going to grab our link, and then what we would do is we create an email template for that post. So I almost feel like I should give an example of a blog post. I might make, like, I should make a quick blog post, because this isn't a good example of a transaction. So I'm going to go to blog posts. If you don't mind, I have some time. I'm going to take a minute here, and I'm going to make a blog post, and I'm going to do 7 reasons why now my at the top 3 St. Pete neighborhoods to invest in for long-term appreciation. So this would be like a question that a lot of people ask, like which neighborhoods are the next up and coming neighborhoods? So that'd be an example, right? So, and I might just, I'm not gonna write the whole post now, but Gulfport, I don't know, I'm making this up South St. Pete. Oh boy. And then I'm just doing for example. These aren't probably what I would take. But you could then talk about why each one of these, is a good place and why you see people moving into these areas in the future. That would be an example. So I've written my blog post. I click publish now. This is a feature I've requested. It does frustrate me too. It's hard to get the actual URL for the blog post. I know I have probably 8 tickets in about this, asking for us to make this easier. But for now, the way that I have to do it is I just have to go to my blog posts on the site down here at the bottom right, and then I can grab the link. I can copy the link address. And now that I've got that content, I can go ahead and go into Marketing Autopilot, into Smart Campaigns, and then into Templates right here. And I would simply create an email template. Top three neighborhoods. And I'm going to name it blog post so I can find it later. The top 3 St. Pete neighborhoods. Okay. Hi. And then what you would do is you would pre-sell the content, kind of. So I'm going to insert a merge tag. I'm going to go hi, lead first name. One question I get a lot from first-time buyers and investors. St. Pete is what are the best neighborhoods to buy in right now for long-term property appreciation? It's a good question. It's a good question because, of course, I feel like everyone wants to buy a property, then see it go up in value. Here's a recent blog post I wrote that addresses this question. After you've checked it out, feel free to reply and let me know if you'd like to see a list of properties in any of these areas. And in these listicle type blog posts where you're talking about properties, probably within the blog post I would put a link, you know, as I describe each neighborhood, I put a link to the properties in that neighborhood as well. To answer Robert's question, so I've kind of pre-sold the thing, and now it says recent blog post I wrote. I would highlight it, link it, and then link to the post that I had copied and pasted. So thanks, Ryan. So you can use your blog posts as kind of a way to build out your campaign follow-up content. I like this question, Robert, because it kind of answers another question, which is where do I get content? What would I send as part of Smart Campaigns? And creating some blog posts and then adding them to a campaign makes a lot of sense because it allows you to show your expertise and really get nitty-gritty on your local market. So I'll just click Add Template. And now that I've got the template added, I would then go into a campaign that I'm using for new, you know, as people come in, whatever my default buyer campaign might be. I think I have one here for my deals people, my 727 deals. So I might go here and say, okay, now I'm going to add this action, and we'll go add that blog post 3 areas, and then search for blog post top 3 neighborhoods. And then I would send this maybe 3 days in, right? Like that. And now it's in my Smart Campaign. So a good approach for this content, because I know I can anticipate you guys thinking this, or let me get a doc up here. A good approach for this might be, you know, to think about maybe 10 core pieces of content. Maybe 10 is a little overwhelming, even 5, right? So 5 blog posts for campaigns. So basically you're going to drip blog posts for campaigns. The other benefit of doing this, of course, is that you're pulling people back into your website where they can keep searching, right? So it's great content that way too. So top 3 neighborhoods. I'm going to give you guys a few ideas right here. Top 3 neighborhoods to invest in. You know, how to negotiate the best deal possible when buying your first home. 3 specific property upgrades you can make in order to get top value for your St. Pete property. Insert your area here. Give me another one. 3, as you can see, there's a theme here. I'm using the listicle approach. I'm doing numbers, right? But 3 St. Pete restaurants you probably haven't heard of, but definitely need to check out. So you could do like the underground foodie kind of thing there, right? And then we'll give you one more. Okay. we'll do a complete current list of motivated properties with motivated sellers in Pinellas County. Here's an example of a blog post where you would actually just be showing a list of properties, but you could write a blog post about why using the keyword search for motivated is a good approach for finding a good deal. And at the end of the post, give them a list. So I kind of just rattled those off. Top buyer tips to avoid. Good one, Robert. So top 3 mistakes second home buyers make. We get really grab. Top 3 mistakes people make when upsizing or downsizing to a new home. I like this one because it's kind of calling out people who might list with you, right? Or people who are thinking about moving make or something. But yeah, it could be first time buyers, something like that. So basically you would you could go ahead and write out these blog post ideas. I have done webinars in the past where we have probably 20 or more of these. I'm gonna go ahead and search here, blogging, real estate blogging ideas webinar. I'll put a link to that inside of this doc and I'll drop it to everybody who's watching live. Blogging ideas webinar. And if you're watching this on YouTube on the replay, I'll make sure this is in the description. This particular document is in the description of the YouTube so you can get it. Oops, that was the actual webinar. Sorry. For those of you watching live, I got to make it so everybody can view. Anyone with link, there we go. Link, copy a link. So, and we probably have other resources with blogging ideas. I'll try to pull it together into the stock for you guys. But Robert, you inspired me because that is a really good question. And rather than, I know a lot of people are always looking for, hey, how can I buy canned content, put it into a smart campaign? I understand why you want to do that. It can work, but you're going to do much better if you kind of identify a core, group of content like this, maybe 5 or 10 posts. Actually write one of them a day. It's not that hard. It'll take you half hour a day, an hour. Just say over the next month, I'm going to get this core content built, get it all added to your blog. And now you've got a really good drip campaign because in your drip campaign, you mention all this stuff. You could, of course, hire a writer. Maybe you're a team leader or a brokerage. Maybe there's somebody at your office who has a lot of writing experience. Maybe you pay them or task them with creating this body of content for your brokerage and then add it to blog posts the way I showed you before. So, but yeah, definitely top 3 area neighborhoods like that. Definitely a good approach versus trying to buy canned content. This is going to be, the advantage here is this is going to be unique, original content that shows you or the people at your company are the local experts versus going to Keeping Current Matters or something, which is a great service, and getting more generic stuff. Okay, and then Robert was asking before, how do I add a property alert to a campaign? Well, I'll give you the only way I can think of to really make a campaign do that would be using the hashtag trigger. So we're going to switch gears here. I'm going to get this is a little more advanced and geeky with the system, but here's how you would do that. So I'm here in a campaign, right? And I'm in my 727 deals campaign. What I could do is I can add an event that adds a tag at the end. So let's say that day 14 is the end of my campaign. That's all I've done, right? This is like my intro campaign. But now anybody who goes through this, I want to move them over into something, into getting automated property alerts for whatever reason. Or maybe I want to set them up on day 5. It doesn't matter. So I'm going to add a tag, add tag, and I'm going to call it add tag that triggers $1 million home alerts for whatever reason. I don't know. That's just, I'm describing what I'm doing. And then I'll add the tag $1 million alerts. And what I can do is I can say run, we'll add this tag at the end. So it's a 14-day campaign, maybe it's 100 days, whatever you're doing. And what that'll do is it'll add a hashtag for $1 million alerts, okay? So what the next component of this, if I want automated alerts to be set up, would be to go into Marketing Autopilot and now create an alert right here under Search Alerts that's triggered by that specific hashtag. So I would do create an alert for $1 million alerts. It's not finding it because I didn't have any contacts with it already, but I can just type it in and it'll match it up. And then I would then set up the automated hashtag for that price range, you know, whatever that description was. What's up, buddy? I got a Great Dane puppy who wants crying a little. All right. And I click add alert. So now what'll happen is that smart campaign will then add the hashtag, and then the hashtag will trigger the auto alerts here. Just like that. Make sense? Okay, I hope it made sense. But you can do that. You can have a smart campaign trigger automated alerts by adding the hashtag and then auto assigning search alerts. Cool. Anything else, guys? I'll probably plan. I've been a little lax because of all the travel. I'll have something more structured tomorrow. Try to at least do one a week where we've got a lot of good structure on a specific topic. But I hope the blogging section there is a little inspirational. I do think that that's a really good plan for creating original content. Remember also, I do believe we still put blog posts into property alerts. So people will see that content. And any different way we can engage people around content is good. You know, we're sending out property alerts and things like that. But if we can start to do these listicle articles that display our expertise, that's always a good thing. Another great topic for blogging is, of course, to talk about clauses within the contract. Sue's asking, do you have any videos on follow-up timelines based on how hot a lead may be? Do you mean like how soon you should reply, or how you should sequence smart campaign follow-up, like what the spacing should be? I don't really have anything specific. Yeah, so in general, I think the best follow-up, we talked about this last week too, or the week before, is definitely the search alerts is kind of a good catch-all for everything. So if you got somebody getting, if they're a new lead, I think it's okay when you have a new lead to have them on a daily property alert for some criteria. The worst they're going to do is tell you to slow it down or to stop, but at least you're in conversation with them. Or they're going to tell you to set different criteria. If you have somebody who's, say, a past client, or they're more sphere, you know, they weren't kind of engaging around real estate right now, but they're in your database, maybe back that off to 2 times a week or once a week on the property alerts. And then alongside that, I don't think there's any problems with sending one communication a day alongside your property alerts that has unique original content on a new lead. So in the beginning, it's just going to be like, hey, thanks for opting in. You know, do you want to talk? You're going to be trying to get them to engage with you. But moving forward, I don't think it hurts as long as the content is unique and you have unique content for you to send something new every day. But I would say if you can create at least one thing a week and have a campaign that sends something once a week, that's probably a good thing. You know, on your older leads, maybe space it 2 or 3 weeks out, but some unique piece of content. This kind of gets a little convoluted because I think the spirit of your question is like, in these smart campaigns, you know, how many should I have in there? And I've seen agents, and I've done this too, where you have 2 or 3 years worth of content, something going out every 30 or 40 days. That's fine and good. But the best thing you could do, I think, instead of that, or alongside that, is just create the original content, create those blog posts like I just showed you, and then use the mass emailing feature. So let's say I go and I write these blog posts. I say, I'm going to write 1 blog post a week, and I'm committed to that. And I do my top 3 area neighborhoods to invest in. So the sequence could be, I write the blog post, then I go and send it to everybody in my CRM who it's relevant to. It might just be everybody, you know, if it's general enough. And I do mass email. And then I would use that same email I did earlier, and I just kind of and I say, hey, I just wrote this blog post, go over there and click it. And then once I've sent the mass email to everybody who's old, then I go and I add it to my campaign. So in the process of doing that, you don't really need to have a really long-term drip campaign, because you're doing a mix of those property alerts and you're creating at least 1 blog post a week and mass mailing it out. So, you know, kind of has you covered. Boy, I know that wasn't exactly what you were looking for, Sue, but I don't think there's any like specific answer. Maybe I need to create a video that answers that in a more organized way. But definitely more contacts in the beginning because they're hot, and then you can phase it out and slow it down as you go. Robert's asking, so he was doing alerts for just the city, but do I think a whole county is better than just one city? I like to keep it broad because you don't really know if they're looking in that city, but this is going to be very location dependent. You know, you're going to know better whether your county or your area makes more sense. But in general, where I am, doing the whole county kind of makes sense because I want to hit, you know, there's a lot of different cities close together. And then what always happens is when you're in a big county, people are naturally going to reply to you and say, hey, you know, I really only wanted this particular city or these two that were down in this school district on that part of the county. So I think there's actually some benefits in keeping it broad in the beginning because you're almost intentionally sending the wrong alert so that people reply and tell you to fix it, which is what we want them to do. Of course, if you know what they want, like if they opted in specifically for fixer-uppers in Gulfport, Florida, I might just set up that alert, and then you could have a second alert, or you could send a separate email that says, hey, I know you opted in for fixers in Gulfport. I'm going to send you that, but also, if you don't mind, I'm going to set you up to get the whole county. You could do that kind of thing too, to seem like you're providing extra value. But yeah, good questions, guys. You know, it's kind of, sometimes I feel like I'm making this stuff up as I go, because that's kind of how it is. Like the beauty of this business is there's so many different ways to do this stuff and to skin the cat, that it is going to be very location dependent. You can take a bunch of different approaches, but the underlying technology, KV Core, you know, the systems we have here give you that flexibility to do whatever you want. In general, if we are consistent about generating leads and about following up with them according to some plan, then we're going to do well. So you can kind of come up with that plan, with what that plan is. You know, there's no real right or wrong as long as there's consistency built into that system and that plan, you're going to do fine. So, because if you ask me, if you ask 30 different people, you know, they're going to tell you 30 different answers. We actually had a question like that yesterday in the group. It was a nice question. It was, hey, you know, is there any A to B how to do this stuff? Because there's so many videos and methods and everything. And the answer is no, but you know, I do acknowledge that we could probably use more specifics around niches, like how to generate luxury leads, how to generate new construction, how to do first-time buyers. And that point was well taken in the group. If you're listening, whoever asked that, I think we're all aware that we should be doing more specifics on different systems you can build inside of this, but in general, there's no right answer. Whew. Okay, yeah, so Lee's asking, this would be a good time to mention this, are we going to be sharing this video? We always post the replays to the Facebook group at insiderealestate.com/Facebook group, and then we always post them as well to insiderealestate.com/webinars, which is the page I have showing on the screen. So when you click on this first green button, it'll take you to the YouTube playlist of all of these in order. So you've got probably hours and hours and hours of content in here going back a while on our YouTube channel. There's 66 videos in this latest series. Some of them were getting a little outdated. And then if you dig in our YouTube channel, there's hundreds of more of these going back 5, 6, 7 years. So, yep. Well, thanks for watching, guys. If you have anything specific that you'd like to talk about, you can take up the conversation in the Facebook group, insiderealestate.com/Facebook group. If you have any like specific topics that you'd like to have covered on these webinars, you can mention that in the Facebook group. Say, hey, I'd really like a session about XYZ, and I will definitely put it on the list and do it. So anyway, until then, I'll see you tomorrow at 12 p.m. Thanks for everybody's participation, and we'll talk to you soon. All right, bye-bye. You too, bye-bye.